My best friends are all drag queens. Miss Testicle and Miss Hemorrhoid. I should have been on top of the world. I was just like, oh, what is happening? This is so scary. Dad used to hide behind the bathroom door and he would pretend to have fell down the plug hole. Help, help, I'm down the plug hole.
This is Show on the Road, brought to you by Auto Trader. We're driving famous faces on a personalised road trip, visiting the places that help shape them and hearing how the locations turn them into who they are today. We've matched each celebrity with a car chosen specifically for them. So, join me, Alex Legui, as we get this show on the road. In 2013, Channel 4 launched Gogglebox, a hit TV show that launched the career of today's guest. I am in Bishop Auckland in County Durham, which is where the lovely Scarlett Moffatt was born and still lives as an adult. The I'm a Celebrity Queen of the Jungle lives just a few miles from the town, and I'm very excited for her to show us around an area that she is really proud of. We've matched her with a Rover 25, a 2005 old school car that I think we will find reminds her very much of her youth.
Oh, look at her little Rover. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I feel like a girl racer again. Hello. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. So this was who I'm having my baby to, my boyfriend. We've known each other since we were like kids, and his first ever car was a Rover 25.
I love that.
Yeah, it was so cute. I used to love it. I was gutted when he got rid of it.
It's 18 years old. Must have been one of the last Rovers ever produced.
Yeah, it's really hard to get them now.
Yeah.
They're like proper niche.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, maybe for his like 50th or 60th, I would love to get him one. You know, like just so we could reminisce on when we were like 17 and he used to pick us up from the town. Oh, this is bringing back so many memories, and now I'm having a little baby with him.
That's mad, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's really mad.
What sort of memories is it bringing back? Like,
I used to have like is it called a subwoof?
right, yeah, subwoofer, yeah.
Yeah, in the back, and we used to just play like happy hardcore music. Like it would be like MCing. There was like these MCs called like DJ Rankin, and they'd be like, go, go, giddy, giddy, go, giddy, giddy, go. And we'd just have the music blasting. It was like the best thing ever when you were like 17.
Yeah. Before we get going, you are obviously heavily pregnant right now.
Yeah.
How many months?
I never work it. Well, this is the thing. Everyone thinks women are pregnant 9 months, but it's actually
not.
10.
I know.
Why are we downplaying this?
I know.
This needs to stop.
And it feels like a lot more than 10.
It feels like 5 years I've been pregnant.
Yeah, I agree. So technically we should just say it's 5 years and it just happens to happen in 10 months.
But I'm 31 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel ready?
Yeah. Does anyone ever feel ready? I don't know.
No, not at all. Have you had any random cravings? Through your pregnancy?
Well, grated cheese.
Right.
Like specifically just the texture. Not even eating it, just feeling it.
No.
Yeah, like just wanting to feel grated cheese.
Wow.
But then I'd eat it after. I don't want to waste food and that.
Yeah.
Honeydew melons.
Okay.
Something I never really knew I liked that much. But I mean, in my first trimester, I was sometimes having 3 melons a day.
Yeah. Okay.
You couldn't move an hour hours for melons. And then, I mean, this is a weird one, but bacon and banana, but it works. So you just wrap a little rasher of bacon around a banana,
Wow.
which isn't the most healthy. So I tried to not have many bacon-covered bananas because, you know.
I guess that's sort of like when you have pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. It's sort of that sweet, sour.
We'll go with that. That
thing.
makes it sound normal then,
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's normal to wrap your bananas in
around
bacon.
your banana.
Yeah.
I mean, the image is taking me.
Just imagine me eating that with only in my pants with a blanket wrapped around us. Scott is a lucky man.
You were born here. You grew up here.
Yeah, County Durham. And I feel like it's funny because if you're not from the north, you assume that Manchester is north.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh,
Is it
do you
not?
pop to Manchester? Manchester's like 3 hours away on a train.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So I class Manchester as south.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like you're only true north when you get to like Leeds, Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Then you've hit the north, I feel. Yeah. But I'm excited to show you about.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. You've obviously spent, we'll delve into that, a little bit of time in London, but do you notice a massive difference between the south and the north? Or the southerners
I hate
and the
stereotyping,
yeah.
but it is like a different world, London. I remember going down, and you've just got so much choice there. I remember the first ever time I went to London, I was only 21 because I'd never been to London before. Like all the telly stuff sort of started, and I went for a meeting, and I just wanted a cup of tea and some toast, which you would is a really simple order up north. I'll just have a cup of tea and some toast. They were like, do you want sourdough? Bearing in mind, I was only 21. They were like, do you want sourdough, oat, brown? Then they were like, do you want salted butter, unsalted? I was like, I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing. Then the amount of types of tea you could get was ridiculous. And then the milk options, I was like, in the end, I just went, look, I just want milk from a cow. I don't know, like, what it's called down here, but I just want milk from a cow. Just any type of bread with some sauce. Because I was, like, starting to, like...
Then you overthink it, and then you actually can't make a decision because there's too much choice, right?
And then, because, again, avocados weren't really a thing up here until, like, a few years ago. I remember putting a picture on my Instagram, and my friend Billy ringing us and going, why have you got guacamole on your breakfast? And I was like, what? She was like, why have you got fajita sauce on your... I was like, no, it's avocados. It's a thing down here. It's just a vegetable.
Off we go. So tell me about Bishop Auckland. Why is this such a lovely place?
I mean, well, for me, it's just home, really. And this is where all of my family are. I feel like home sort of, for me, is where my family is. Because we're like the Geordie Von Trapps, really. We're a very close family. So, like, all of us live within, like, 5 miles, like, 5 minutes away from each other. The furthest person's, like, 10 miles away.
It's going to really help having your family so close when you give birth.
Oh, I can't wait. Everyone's already like, I feel like I could write a rota of when people are going to look after him.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Although he might come and I might not want to share him with anyone. I don't know how I'm going to be.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because Scott seems to think, he's like, oh, we can go on a date night once a week. I'm like, once a week? I think you're pushing it there.
Yeah.
But I mean, so if you're from County Durham as well, which is Bishop Auckland, so up north we all have like names. So if you're from Middlesbrough, you're a Smoggy. If you're from Newcastle, you're a Geordie. Right. Sunderland's Mackham. And if you're from County Durham, you're a Pit Yacker.
A Pit Yacker?
Yeah, Pit Yacker, because basically this is like, it's just basically County Durham is just a collection of mining villages and mining towns. So yeah, we're called Little Pit Yacker. Yeah, it's very industrial area, but it's just so lovely. The people are so friendly up here. I think that was the main difference when I moved down to London. Not saying Londoners aren't friendly, yous are, but it's just that sense of community that felt like it was missing. Like, you know, all your neighbours round here. If there's like, I don't know, if it's heavy snow or whatever, everyone goes round, and a bit like the olden days, like people make stew and send it to your house and make sure you're all right and stuff. Like, it's hard to feel lonely up north. So we're actually in Shildon now.
Right, okay.
So this is how close all the towns are together.
Yeah.
So this is actually, so I was born in Bishop Auckland, and then we moved to Shildon from when I was like 1 year old until I was about 11.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So really strong, like, formative memories.
Yeah, and this is like really well known for trains.
Right. Hang on, Dabble Duck Industrial Estate, and we also just drove past Bluebell Road or something like
Everything
that.
sounds like it's from a fairy tale.
It really does,
doesn't it?
Yeah, that's cute. We are actually we're on our way to your primary school.
Yeah.
Timothy Hackworth.
Yeah,
Primary
Timothy
School?
Hackworth Primary. Timothy Hackworth, he like basically changed the whole of Shildon in the 18th century because he built a big place where like people could sort of make parts for trains and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he like really helped the area and give people lots of jobs. But there's like, I don't know even if this is true history, but this is what we were taught at primary school. There was George Stevenson and Timothy Hackworth, and they both entered a competition to see who could build a steam train to like carry stuff.
Right.
And Timothy Hackworth lost. Yeah, and that's the school I went to. The loser won. Sign of things to come. Who knows? Oh, here it is to the right.
Oh, so what was little Scarlett like?
Oh, she could eat an apple through a letterbox and had a proper monobrow.
Oh.
Yeah, school. Do you know, primary school was really, I loved primary. Secondary was where it was hard for me, but I've got nothing but sort of like fond memories of primary school.
Yeah, that's good. What if I'd have been a fly on the wall when you were at primary school? What would you have been like?
Just a proper geek.
Really?
Like a proper geek. Like, I loved just like learning about just anything. Like, I would do extra homework. I once remember in year 6, us learning about, this sounds how boring I was. This is shows I didn't have many friends, about farm diversification. And I wrote, my mum still got it, a 60-page sort of like just booklet. It had a contents page, a glossary and everything. No one asked me to do it. That's how I chose to spend my time. As an 11-year-old, that was where I got my kicks.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cute.
And then at the back, there was like a huge field, and it was always nice. Like, so on a sunny day, they opened the gates for the field, and we would all play things like bulldog and until it got banned.
Yeah.
It always ends up
That's
getting
right,
banned. Stick in the mud and like, yeah. Did you ever play Kiss, Cuddle or Chasey?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it was just kiss chase. I think I didn't bother with the cuddles or the. I went straight in there.
You used to love Kiss, Cuddle, Chasey. You used to love all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, me too. You call yourself a geek, so were you quite shy or not? Were you quite?
I wasn't
chatty then?
shy, but I just, from an early age, realised that like my interests were a lot different to my friends. So like, I think it comes from my dad. Me and my dad are really close. And like, when I was like, from the age of 5, we would go metal detecting, and we would and we would go and do like Civil War reenactments where we would get to like dress up and go to Winchester Fort and dress as Romans. And like, he was really into like aliens.
Oh, so that's where your alien love and conspiracy theory
So
passion
I would
came
come into
from.
school, and so me and my dad would take a notepad and we'd take our Labrador Glen for a walk, just at Devil Duck Industrial Estates actually, down the road. And yeah, I'd go into school and I'd be like, I seen a crop circle.
No.
And and like obviously kids were like, oh. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of my friends went to like the Scouts and stuff like that, and the Brownies. Whereas I was out metal detecting and dressed as a Roman.
Did you ever find anything quite exciting?
Oh, we did actually find once, but you have to hand them back in.
Oh,
Yeah, we found like a coin from the 16th century, which I remember like, I think we spoke about that for a year. Like everyone we met would be like, we found this coin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really, it was like a big thing. I remember that being like a big moment in my life.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times we just found like buttons.
Just stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like the idea of like finding something really, really random.
Oh, I'd love that. Imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, just like to find something that was worth actual like dollar.
And not having to give it back as well.
Rather than just like tins of Fosters and buttons, which is what we found most of the time. But I think it was just spending time with my dad that I enjoyed, to be fair. It was just fun. Oh, I love that we've come to primary schools. Because like I drive past it all the time, but I never really like think about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite nice to sort of like have a little stop and remember it. I remember I'm still like friends with, so my best friend at primary was called Rosie, and every Friday we used to go to her house, and her dad used to make us pancakes, and he'd have rhubarb in his garden, and he'd give us a cup of sugar and some sticks of rhubarb, and then we'd eat that, obviously be buzzing because we'd had that much sugar, and then make dance routines up to like steps and
Oh, so you're still friends with Rosie now?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And Sarah, who I was good friends with at primary, I mean, I'm like godmother to her children now, and we live together at university,
So has it changed, your school? Does
Do you
it
know
look
what?
Exactly the same.
It looks exactly the same. I remember that little shelter thing used to be where you put your bikes, but then they changed it and we all had to have a vote. It was my first little dabble in politics of like having a vote, and it was either going to be made into a quiet area or it was going to be made into where like it was going to have like little swings and stuff, and apparently everyone voted for it to be a quiet area.
Oh.
And that's when I learned politics could be rigged. Because there's no way
There's no way that
bunch
children...
of 8 to 11-year-olds went, now we don't want swings. Tell you what, we'll have a quiet area.
That's so true, isn't it?
I don't know anybody that voted for it. But Timothy Ackworth, they say that it was all fair. But I actually trained to be a primary school teacher. That's what I did at university. So I feel like actually that I owe that school a lot, because if I didn't go on to do primary school teaching at university, I wouldn't be sat here now, because I met my friend Tommy at uni, who gave us the opportunity to go on Gogglebox.
Yes, okay.
Because that was like a total sort of fluke that he rang us one day and was like, you know loads of people, I've got this job where I'm like casting people for a show where you watch the telly. I was like, oh my word, they'll make shows about anything. People watching the telly. We're going to be watching people watching the telly. I couldn't find anyone. Everyone was like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So he was like, can you and your family just, like audition? And I was like, well, no, because we don't want to be on the telly. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. You won't be. Like, it'll just be all in-house. Like, no one will ever see it.
No.
And then they came to the house and they showed us, like, little clips of the telly. And then they showed us, like, cards of people, of celebrities, and we had to talk about them. And that was on the Saturday. And then on the Monday, we got a phone call saying, yeah, you're on the show. Can you film tomorrow?
No.
And then it was my dad that persuaded me and my mum, because we got 50 quid in a free takeaway. So we were like, why not?
Brilliant. That's such a sliding doors moment.
Yeah, it really is. I think I would just still be enjoying life as a primary school teacher.
Yeah.
Probably still have ended up with Scott. I don't know if
Yeah.
too much would have changed.
What takeaway did you choose?
Oh, we used to get absolute fish and chips, Domino's, chicken kebabs, a lot. But like and I really want to try and recreate this with our little boy when he's born. One of my favourite memories from being a kid is my dad used to hide behind the bathroom door, and my mum would be in the bathroom and she'd be like, come quick, Scarlett, come quick. And he would pretend to have fell down the plug hole. And he used to do like a squeaky voice, and he used to be like, help, help, I'm down the plug hole. And so I'd have to go in search of like things that we could like try and dangle down the plug hole. And then he'd just stand in the bath and my mum would be like, oh, don't worry, I've pulled him out. And I'd be like, oh, Dad, you really had us worried there. I thought you were a goner.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, so this is my dance school.
Yes.
So the studio.
Diane White's Academy of Dance.
Yeah.
Is that what it was when you
it
were
was.
young as well? So when were you here?
So I first came here when I was like 4 years old, and then until I was like 17, and yeah, just ballroom and Latin dancing. But it was like this is where I sort of learned like a bit of confidence, like in being a little bit of a geeky kid, because as well Strictly wasn't on. Ballroom and Latin was sort of like an old fogey dance, but I just absolutely fell in love with it. And yeah, like this was like my escape, really, like my social side of life. But I just loved cha-cha-chaing and waltzing, and it was just so fun.
We're just looking at the front entrance of the studio, and actually it says the studio, doesn't it? It's got this sort of old school plaque, and it says line dancing, salsa club, old time, ballroom, sequence and Latin. Oh,
look at it. Oh, so many memories.
Yeah. How much do you think that those years like shaped you?
Oh, I think they massively. I don't think I would have dared done TV if I hadn't have done dancing.
Yeah. Because
it's sort of like you're still you, but you're sort of like you, like an alter ego, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, oh, well, it's fine because this is like dancing version me.
Yeah.
And I think sort of I bring a bit of my dancing version me TV, like a bit of like jazz hands and
The heightened version.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Barocca version of you.
Yeah, the Barocca version.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pro plus Scarlett.
Yeah, that's so
that
true.
brings so many memories.
Are you?
I
when
want
you
my
go-
little boy to dance.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
do. I
that's
want him
nice.
to learn how to. How do we put this? Is my dance teacher?
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Hello, are you all right? Are you all right?
Hiya, my darling.
Mwah.
How are you?
Yeah,
How's
really good. Yeah, really good. Thank you. We're just talking about old times at the dancing.
Oh, I know.
So many amazing ones. So Diane, who was my dance teacher, is actually my little sister's godmother
No.
as well. Yeah. So it's just like
And Scarlett's mum's my son's godmother.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It was just like we just spent all of our time with each
I
other,
know,
didn't we?
we did.
It was so lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. We've just been to see primary school, Timothy Hackworth. Like, we're just going on a little bit of a road trip down memory lane. Yeah.
How much has Scarlett changed in your
She hasn't.
eyes?
Yeah,
She hasn't. Amazing.
But I think
What you see is what you get.
I think you's definitely brought out confidence in us, because I remember sort of
She used to walk in and the head was down like
Oh,
this.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I don't know, something just clicked in us one day, and I just realised like, you can just do and then
Can
I.
do this.
Oh well, I'll let you go to Asda.
I know, well, I'll let you
Give us
crack
a
on.
kiss.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Love you.
Love you. See you later.
Yeah.
Look,
See you
her
later.
number plate even says 1, 2, 3 cha. Like cha cha cha. Oh.
That's so nice to hear as well, that you really, and they really saw a difference in your confidence.
Yeah, that's why I think I just like encourage anyone like with little ones to just have a hobby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dance was life.
Completely.
And you
And
had
it's-
2 major competitions a year. And you
Wow.
would just like at Blackpool at Winter Gardens and then at Blackpool Tower. And like your whole year would just be training for them dance competitions. Oh, and my best friend Sarah, she used to live just at the end of this street here opposite the primary school, which
really?
was very handy.
Yeah.
Very handy having, a friend who lived opposite the school.
So that took you up to, where were you there then? What was that, up until 11?
11, yeah.
And then I guess you went to senior school.
Yes,
Was that
and then
close to here?
yeah, it was actually. It was. It's not. Well, it's sort of there, but it's got a different name now.
Right.
It was quite a sort of. How do I like? Ofsted didn't like the school.
Right, okay,
You know, it was one of them ones.
Yeah.
But you know, I do think as well. You know, if you want to learn, you will, even if things aren't as easy. You
Yeah.
know, like I think I was really lucky and privileged that I had a family that really sort of helped me do well and stuff, and I'm aware that not everyone sort of has that, so that's why schools are really important and why they should you know, be well funded, because if you don't have a good support network, that's the only place
Yes.
that you've got opportunity to try and do well, whereas it wasn't the best secondary school really.
And how was that? I know that there was one school that you left.
Yeah.
Was it that one?
No, I actually left a good school to go to that school, but I was just so badly bullied.
Right.
It was sort of like a last resort, really. I didn't really want to, and at the time I felt like, oh, you know, I'm leaving secondary school, and am I doing the right thing? Am I quitting? But I think sometimes, and as I've grown up, I've realised that actually, you know, sometimes the best thing to do is walk away.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that you're a weak person. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing, actually, is to start again. Whether that's schools or relationships or anything, sometimes that can be the really sort of like hard defining moments in your life.
Yeah.
But I felt like I made the right decision for me, because then I went on and sort of really enjoyed secondary school, really enjoyed learning, made friends
that's
for
really
life.
good.
So yeah, I felt like I did the right thing. My dad used to always say that bullies are like sandpaper. The more they wear you down, the more polished you become.
Oh, that's
And I think that's really, really
great.
true.
That needs to be on the t-shirt.
We could start an Etsy shop and sell those.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. From our Rover 25.
I still love that we're in a Rover 25. I love it.
you were obviously really close to your dad. He's come up a lot in your conversation. What was your family atmosphere like as a child?
Just so much fun.
Was it?
You know, I've got a really young family, and it's only as I've gotten older I've realised just how young, you know, in comparison to my friends that my family are. So my nan is actually only 68.
Oh, wow.
So she had my mum, she'd just turned 16. My mum had me when she'd just turned 19. And my dad was 22. So yeah, you know, I remember being at my mum's 30th birthday.
Yeah,
which is crazy
that's
now,
nice.
but I just, you know, that felt really sort of like not like the norm for me.
Yeah.
But I think in doing that, we sort of weirdly grew up together,
Yeah.
me, my mum and dad. And like, even though, you know, they are very parenty, as in they've always got their advice and things, I feel really lucky that like they are like my best pals.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love spending time. Like, honestly, we just have this weird sense of humour that not a lot of other even Scott now, even though Scott and me have been together 5 years and, you know, we always do everything together, sometimes they'll just go, I just don't understand what you're laughing at. And I'm like, maybe it's just a Moffatt thing, maybe she just have to be in our family and a bit warped to get our sense of humour.
That's so nice. And I love the fact that, you know, that obviously really came across on Gogglebox.
Oh, thanks.
And are we near your house then?
Yeah.
Your
so
old house or your
old
current?
house? So it's just at the top. Yeah, this was my old house. So this was the second house I ever lived in.
Wow. So from what age did you say?
So 11, or third house actually, because when I was a baby I lived in Bishop as well. There it is. The
What
one with
number?
like 36.
Oh, look.
So that was the Gogglebox house.
No.
Yeah, so like they used to like zone in on the front and be like, the Moffatt family.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the front room that we used to film in. Yeah,
I feel like it needs more singing and dancing. Like,
should have a like little Gogglebox.
yeah,
plaque
I agree.
on, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel
but
like
we haven't filmed now for 23, 7 years.
Does it feel like
No.
that long?
And you know what? I think because they play sort of repeats all the time, still people come up and like talk about Gogglebox, and I'm like, and they're like, how's your mum and dad? And I'm like, yeah, they're really good. And I think they still think I live with my mum and dad. And I'm like, no, that we haven't filmed for like 7 years. But yeah, I've got a lot. I owe a lot to Gogglebox actually. It really did change sort of the course of my life. But this was such a fun street to grow up in. Like a couple of doors up was my friend Craig, and we used to like whenever it was sunny have proper sort of like water fights, and yeah, it was just really.
Does he still live there?
He doesn't actually. We all sort of moved at the same time, but yeah, it was just like such a lovely street to live in.
Was there a dramatic change when you started Gogglebox in your world, or was it?
Not straight away. I would say actually that sort of it was the same. I was working as a primary school teacher.
Right.
Then I started working for the DSA, which is like sort of for disabled or SEN children that go to university or higher education, and I started working there. Would get on the bus to go to work, or my friend Ivo at the end of the month when I didn't have enough money for the bus tickets, Ivo would pick us up, which I'm always grateful for. And no, like people would sometimes chat at work about it. They'd be like, oh, I watched you on that show, and then Gogglebox sort of changed to being on just before Alan Carr's Chatty Man on a Friday.
Right.
And that's when all of a sudden it was like just like walking into a brick wall of like this, everything's changed. Like
Wow.
I just remember walking through Asda to go to the bus stop and like missing my bus because loads of people were coming over. Like, asking for photos, because then social media started becoming a bit more of a thing.
Yeah, so how long had you been on Gogglebox then by this point?
Like 2 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 2 years. And then, yeah, people would be wanting to chat and stuff like that. And then, yeah, it just felt different, you know.
Nice, different?
I wish I'd been prepared a bit more, you know. But I think for sort of like a 23-year-old, I was like, this is a bit much, this. I don't know how to sort of handle it. But then I got offered to go on I'm a Celebrity, and I turned it down the first time.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was just like, God, I just watched the telly. Like, I don't, like, no one's going to know who I am and stuff. And then I got asked the year after, and that's when I said, yeah, I thought, I love the show. I'd be silly not to do it.
How obvious is it when you're on the set in the camp? How obvious is it that it's an actual set? Like, are there boom operators? Are there lights?
No, so actually, I feel like I'm a Celebrity is one of those shows where it's just got it so right. Like, you literally feel, from the moment that you sort of taken to wherever it is you're going, you've given blindfolds, you've put like head muff things on so you can't hear anything, then you meet your campmates, and then you're just driven, like, you're driving around for ages in the back of a van, like, not knowing where you are. You get into camp, you feel miles away from anywhere. And after when I did the extra camp show for a couple of years after, I realised you're not that far away from like McDonald's and stuff. But it really feels like you are. But everything's hidden, like, you can't see any cameras. Even when you go and do trials and there's cameramen, they're not allowed to talk to you, and they have like stickers over the watches.
Yeah.
So you don't even know what time it is. So you do really feel like I am stuck in the middle of a jungle.
That's so good.
Yeah, but then it meant deciding whether to give up Gogglebox or not. So it was like a really big decision.
Wow.
Because we love doing it as a family. But my mum and dad always said, like, that they would never sort of just do it them too. Like, they were like, oh, what? That's our stint on telly over. You know, they weren't like...
And had life changed for them as well?
No,
Similarly?
not as much, you know. Not as much. I was always a bit envious of that, actually, at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know if it's because they were older, but it just always felt like something to chat about to their friends, you know? Rather than sort of, like, getting asked for selfies and stuff. Like, I remember ordering a pizza and getting, like, getting the pizza from the door, and sort of that being on the front page of the Sun. And I always remember thinking, God, I live such a boring life, and yet, like, people seem to want to know about it. And I think that's what I couldn't get my head around. I think it was more actually internally that I sort of suffered from imposter syndrome. I think, you know, lots of nice things were happening for me, and because to me I'm just like every other one. Like, everyone would be like, oh, you, like, you know, the people would say I was funny and stuff, and I'd be like, but I'm no funnier than all my friends. Like, it's genuinely just a northern thing. I just happen to be on a show that, like, showcases that. But I think I got imposter syndrome. I think I would worry, like, oh, I'm going to get found out, and they're all going to find out that actually I'm, like, just really, like, boring. I think that's what it was. So I think maybe, I don't know, just someone else who was in the industry to talk about it with. I think that would have really helped me.
Most people, I guess, stereotypically would have just had a, quote, normal life before something like this happening. But it doesn't sound like you did.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like I had a really sort of, like, lucky upbringing, you know. Like, I feel like a few things happened. Like, my dad got cancer, and, you know, but it was sort of wrapped around his spine, so they didn't know if they operated, you know, that he would make it. And that was over Christmas, and I remember that being really hard. And he actually came home on Christmas Eve, and he was like my best friend. So I feel like that happened. And then because of that happening, I then developed tics and got Bell's palsy, which, that was... Lots of stuff happened within a year. So that happened. And then I was in a bike accident where I smashed all my front teeth. So that sort of all happened while sort of getting bullied. Not like a sob story or anything, but just a lot happened in a short space of time that I think I never really sort of, you know, I just sort of got on with it because I just wanted all them feelings to go away. I think when then I started seeing that people had opinions of me online and you know, the press and stuff, and never read the Daily Mail comments because they're never very nice, but no one warned me about that I think those memories came back, and all of a sudden I felt like I was being bullied again, and that actually what they were saying was right, and I didn't deserve all these wonderful things happening to me. You know, I should have been on top of the world, But really, like, I was just like, oh, what is happening? This is so scary. But I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want to be a burden and be like, I'm actually really finding this hard, because everyone was so proud of me that I felt like I couldn't let them down. So I had to just sort of like pretend I was super happy. And it was actually the Samaritans charity that really helped us. And I remember like sort of going to ring them a few times and putting the phone down and not knowing what to say. And then just talking to this lovely woman on the phone, and like, yeah, it just genuinely like really helped. And that's why, if like a couple of years later, once I was all sorted, because that gave us sort of the motivation I needed to tell my family how I was feeling, and then get help of, you know, actually like going to my GP. That then I messaged Samaritans on Instagram. I was like, if there's any way I can ever help you, please let me know. And then I became an ambassador for Samaritans, which was really lovely, because I felt like it went really full circle. And I really hope that people, you know, even though mine's a bit unique, I think we've all at some point felt, you know, a little bit lost or a little bit lonely, or, you know, a bit of imposter syndrome, that it can get better. Like, you're not always going to feel in a place where it feels like you can't quite climb out of that hole. Yeah. So, no, I feel like, yeah, Samaritans I owe a lot to.
I feel like you really haven't lost sight of the giving back side of your world.
Oh, I think, to be honest with you, like, because a lot of people always, like, to me, the worst critique I could ever get is that, like, oh, you're different to what you come across. Or, like, do you know what I mean? Or, like, if all of a sudden my mum and dad start being like, oh, you're getting a bit big for your boots. Like, I would hate that. So I just try and, like, not be an a-hole. Yeah. I think it's a pretty, like, easy way. I think it's harder living your life, like, being angry and that all the time, and not, like, I don't know, I just feel like that would be more exhausting than actually just, like, trying to enjoy, like, every day and stuff.
But you do seem to still be really, like, grateful for it, which I would imagine that's quite easy to lose sight of.
Oh, I just feel like, well, sometimes, like, especially like being pregnant and hormonal, like, sometimes I do sort of walk around my house and like just think, I can't believe that, like, this is where I live, or this is my job. And I hope that never goes. I hope I always feel like really lucky, like I constantly feel like a competition winner. Like, I genuinely do feel like I've won at life.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I do really feel like that. And like I say, I hope that never ever goes. Even like when I do shows like Adna, blankety blank, and I'm like, as if I'm doing blankety blank.
And you're about to become a mother, so, you know, all of those messages that you know would want to give your younger self, you sort of have the opportunity to tell your younger self, because he's about to.
I'm excited for that. I'm so excited to be a mum. I never knew if it would be on the cards. Yeah, honestly, when me and Scott found out that I was pregnant, I don't think I've ever been so shocked in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
And what went through your mind?
Just pure joy, actually, which is when
nice.
I realised, like, oh, I must really want to be a mum, because there was not one sort of moment where I was like, oh, this is, you know, I was just like, oh, we're gonna have a baby. And weirdly, I just sort of knew. We went on holiday, and I was like, oh, I just don't really want to. I don't want to drink or anything. I just feel a bit different. Yeah. And then I ordered, when we got back, I ordered pregnancy tests off Amazon. Scott opened the parcel. He was like, what are these? And I was like, the pregnancy test. He was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I just have a feeling that. And it's so weird, isn't it? Mm-hmm. When I told my mum that, she was like, no. I was like, honestly, Mum, I was like, I felt like I was pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you've got a really open mind. The fact that you're really interested in, you know, the psychic and all of those sorts of things, I think that leaves you open to being a bit more in tune.
Yeah, Scott laughs when I put when I put my crystals out on a
Oh,
full
yeah, me
moon.
too.
Yeah. I'm always like, you need to open your third eye, Scott. And he's like, I wish you wouldn't say that in public. I'm like, but you do. You just need to open your third eye more.
You've got to charge your crystals, darling. It's full moon.
He wants you know, like the Ring doorbells, you know,
Yeah.
where like thing. He was he rang us. It was like half midnight, and he was like, "What are you doing in the garden?" I was like, "It's a harvest moon, Scott. I'm manifesting." He was like, "Jeez, Louise." He was like, because he was at work. He was like, "I keep getting that the garden sensors are going off." He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm just thinking about things that I want to happen."
Yeah, I'm
He doesn't
right
get it.
there with you.
Yeah. I think you're either all in,
Yeah.
or there's no in between. You can't be like, "Oh yeah, I sort of believe in manifesting that." You're either all in or you just don't get it at all.
Yeah, but that's interesting because you didn't manifest your Gogglebox journey.
No,
But that was would that have been a fate thing? Or what?
maybe, yeah,
was that?
actually. After I started on Gogglebox, I did start writing a book in the hope that one day I would get a book published. And on it, I had my top 3 dream jobs. And one was to be Ant and Dec's sidekick, which sort of come true on
Yeah.
Saturday Night Takeaway.
Yeah.
And another one was to be a radio presenter, which I went on to do for Capital North East. And then the other one was to become Queen of the Jungle one day.
Wow.
So I do feel like I sort of, and that was before I
Yeah.
knew about manifesting.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's amazing, isn't it?
I also put on Chocolate Taster, which hasn't happened yet actually.
But it still
one
can.
day. I'm still waiting for that one to come true. So my nanny just lives up there.
Your nan?
Yeah, literally that house there, my little nan and my granda.
Oh, what's her name?
So they're called Christine and Tommy.
Hi,
Smiles.
Christine and Tommy.
Mr. and Mrs. Smiles. Yeah.
I love that. Who live in fairy tale land. You're a real advocate for empowering women, aren't you?
Thanks.
Do you?
I try to. I think there's a fine line. I just feel like we get such a hard time without like being like, oh, woe is us, woe is women. Like, I do feel like we have it really hard in sort of every aspect of our life. And I think the sooner you realise that you can sort of never win to everyone else and you've got to just accept yourself, I think that life becomes a lot more peaceful.
Is there a lot of pressure that comes with that role model sense?
I think for me, I find it good pressure because I think it makes us actually like not overthink, but I do think, right, am I showing like my real self here? You know,
Yeah,
like rather
that's
than
good.
sort of like a polished version all the time.
Yeah, and also, you know, just reflecting back on how you were talking about when, you know, the stuff that you were going through when you were 11, 12, how much harder that would have been if you'd had social media on top.
Oh, I can't even imagine. In that, like, I grew up like going metal detecting, building forts, being outside playing. Like, my whole life wasn't just tech. Whereas, obviously, with my little sister having like a 16-year age gap between us, I can see how much it sort of like dominates just her and her friends' lives.
Do you give her advice?
I mean, she often gives me advice. She's switched on Eve. Eve is unapologetically herself, and I'd like to think a bit of that comes from me.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad. But yeah, she, like when I was a kid, I tried to fit in, whereas Ava's just not bothered. Like, she's got her friends and they're all very different, and she's just like, well, why would I want to pretend to be someone else? Because then they don't really like us anyway. And I'm like, yes, but it's took me a long time to figure that out. You figured it out at such a young age.
Yeah,
Very
that's
envious.
good. You have a lot of trans and drag friends, don't you?
Yes, try and be a massive ally for the LGBTQ plus community. My little sister's gay. She came out to us last year, which was really lovely that she felt like, you know, she'd just turned 16, that she could, you know, share that and know. And my dad said the perfect thing. He just went, because she sort of sat us all down in this really formal way, which is not my little sister at all. I think we all started really panicking of what she was going to tell us. And as soon as she just said, oh, I'm gay, my dad was like, oh, is that it? I thought it was going to be something bad. And I was like, oh, Dad, you couldn't have said like a more perfect thing there. Because I think she just instantly like felt relieved. But yeah, like like my best friends are all drag queens. Miss Testicle.
Miss Testicle, that's amazing.
Miss Emeroid.
Oh, I love it.
Miss Cara and Gucci Gabor.
God, I'm jealous that I don't have a drag name.
Oh, what would you drag? See, I always think mine would be Donna Kebab. Because I feel like I quite look like a Donna. And then to add, Donna Kebab, she's like a little bit trashy, little bit classy, depends what time of the night it is. Yours could be like, because sort of like you're into cars and travelling all that. Yours could be Miss Caravan. Like Caravan. Miss Caravan and Donna Kebab on tour.
There we go. Out.
I like that. Out.
And our theme is...
Oh, we have to have a theme.
Yeah.
We have to always have a theme.
Aliens and unicorns.
Oh, yeah, I love a unicorn.
Yeah. Do they exist?
I'd like to think they did at one point.
Yeah.
There's no way I think they're just really thin rhinos. Do you know what I mean? I think someone just seen a really thin rhino, and I think we'll call that a unicorn.
Yeah.
I'd love them to be real. Like, I just think, what is a world without a bit of magic and a bit of, like, mystique?
So, presumably, this area you know well.
Yeah, so this area I know well. One, because my mum and dad just live on that street up there. And secondly, it's got the best fish and chip shop in the world. There it is.
Oh.
Just up there. But opposite there is the hospital that I was born at. And then just on this side of the street is the church that I was christened at.
No.
Everything's so close together. Going on this trip has made me realise how dinky County Durham is. It's only tiny.
I love the fact that where we are right now as well, you've got children playing outside the house.
Oh, yeah. It's still like a big thing up here. I used to love playing out as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
I used to build forts all the time. Loads of forts. Here it is, Beadles. You see the little fish sign outside?
Look, yeah.
Brings me so much joy when I can see that little fish.
What's it like inside?
It's only dinky, but it's just beautiful.
Oh.
It's such a beautiful fish and chip shop. As a kid, when I lived at Childen, we lived opposite a chip shop called Betty's Fish Shop.
Right.
And we used to literally go in and just ask for a bag of scraps. When I think back now, like, it's literally batter. Like, we literally just eating batter. But it was so nice. And then for 10 pence, you could get a massive, and I mean either a massive pickled onion or a massive pickled egg.
Oh.
I know, we were all just running around stinking, really. Making forts, playing out, eating pickled onions and pickled eggs. Live the dream. I hope that you've liked County Durham.
I absolutely love it. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes in the media, like, the northeast is like really portrayed in like a bad way.
No, not at all.
And that's why I really wanted, when I did Scarlett's driving school, I really wanted to like shine a light on like the people and the scenery and what we had to offer. Because often it's just, when you're on the telly, like up north, it's just police interceptors, so it's like crime stuff, or it's like people on benefits, and it's like, it's not. Even there's just such a sense of community, and it's such a wonderful place to live that we're so much more than that. So any opportunity I can where I get to talk about the north. Yeah.
How has it been taking a trip around your...
Look at the car we're in, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I felt 17 again sitting in this car. And it is really crazy sort of being in this car as a woman now with a baby from Scott, when he used to, pick me up in this with a bit of emceeing in the background. So yeah, I thought I was going to cry when I first sat in. I was like, oh, this feels amazing. But no, it's been lovely showing you around.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I still can't believe you've found this car.
It's great, isn't it?
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Enjoy your amazing spectacular chip sensation.
Thank you, I will.
Thanks so much to Scarlett Moffatt for showing me around her beautiful town of Bishop Auckland and enlightening me on some of the local delicacies. You can see exclusive footage of the drive by heading to the Auto Trader socials. Look at the episode page for links. You'll also be able to see the Rover 25 that truly took Scarlett back to her teenage years. And if you're looking for a new vehicle, you can find your perfect match at autotrader.co.uk.